And we are back with another incredible episode of the Big Ass Cornhole podcast, brought to you by Draggin Bags.
Draggin Bags.
We got a little glimpse of the sexy man behind the curtain there, Dan Lambert.
Did flexing.
If you want to see him, join our Patreon. You'll see him flash behind Athena Delgado coming up here soon. But owned by great people, make even better products. Sean's rocking the hat right now.
Sure am.
Strongest 2 letters in the game. We've been saying it, guys. DB, baby. Head over to Draggin Bags and get your great gear today. If you're a cornhole player and you don't have Draggin Bags, you're doing yourself a disservice. So head over to dragginbags.com. Drop code BIGASP12 at checkout. It's going to save you some money. So get your gear today over at dragginbags.com.
Welcome to the Big Ass Cornhole Show with Sean and Dane, the hosts you know, talking cornhole life and random fun. Grab a beer, let's get it done. From tossing bags to let's wild ride, tune in and join the party, don't you hide. It's the Big Ass Cornhole podcast time with Sean and Dane. It's always prime. Sean is done.
It's a pretty active one, that one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get you involved, Sean. All right. People don't
I like
only
to collect
want
my
me.
thoughts.
All right.
So welcome back to yet another episode of the Big Ass Cornhole podcast. Sean and Dane are with you as always. What's going on, man?
What's happening?
Nothing, man.
How you doing?
Just another evening, Monday. Later than we normally record.
Bloody Monday.
Blame that on Trey and Athena.
Yeah.
Trey's
Jerks
early bedtime.
and dinners.
But all right, before we get into anything else, we're gonna do what we do best every single week. We're gonna let you know what's we're sipping on tonight. And a favorite segment called "What You Drinking."
What you drinking?
Boom, water.
Sean's got water.
Yeah, for me.
I just grabbed this Brewdog Elvis
It's so
juice,
good.
man. It's such
one of my favorites.
It's probably my favorite summertime
Yeah,
IPA.
it's up
Just
there.
like it's
Yeah.
always just good. I don't know if you've noticed though, like
Did
there
you
were
use the
5%.
can?
No, they did a little bit. It's
Okay.
got a sweet orange like
Yeah,
hue to
yeah,
it now.
okay.
It's really cool, but it was 5% last year, and I know this because I had an empty can sitting in my garage and I checked it.
Okay, what is it now?
6.5 now.
Oh,
Yeah, so
beefing
they
it up.
beefed it up a little bit. So Brewdog Elvis juice. If you ever see it, if you like a grapefruit IPA,
Yeah,
it's a great, refreshing one for the summertime. I highly recommend it.
hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, so this week it's going to be a very short little snippet of us.
Yeah.
But it's basically going to be mostly Trey and Athena. They joined the show, so they had some restructuring going on. So we talk about all that stuff. We talk about the pro numbers being increased. If you have any questions, we pretty much laid out everything that they could say at this time was pretty much said.
Yeah.
There's still a few things that they're not able to go public with right now, but you're going to have a very good understanding after listening to the interview of where Cornhole is standing going forward. I hope you feel energized by it.
Fulfilled.
I feel energized by it a little bit
I mean,
more.
I like the
This is-
avenues they're going.
And again, I know a lot. Some people are going to listen to the show and be like, they're being homers, right? Right? We're going to be like, I'm not. We've been very critical over the years of the ACL and the things that we don't agree with. This is the first time in a very long time that I feel like things are actually going in the direction I think they should.
They're going back to the roots that built the game, and
again, like I don't want to call it like necessarily like copying, but they're using a model that is very similar to one that we've seen that's worked in other places.
yes,
In my opinion, I'm not saying
100%.
it's a copycat, but it's a very similar type of model along that same family. And we're seeing it work down in the TCL.
yeah. But we're also, I mean, we've been saying it for years that the regional model is really the thing that's going to have to help it. And like, this is the step that they're taking.
Yeah.
So like, I do like the avenues that they're going. Yeah. Is there going to be some hiccups along the way? 100. It's absolutely. Is everyone in Cornhole going to be happy? Hell no.
All right. So
But it's still
before we
good.
get into anything else, all right, we're going to let you know what's going on in our lives. A segment we call In and Around the Hole.
Are you too good for your home? Answer me!
So we have like 8 minutes and then we're due for another interview and we'll get to that in some more of that 8 minutes. But over the weekend, we attended the FU Open
Yes,
for
we
the
did.
Cleveland Mediocre Golf Association.
Hell yeah.
It was at Pheasant Run Golf Course in LaGrange, Ohio. And Dane and I did not play in the event. I mean, we kind of did. We played
I
the
got to
first
get out
9
and
holes.
golf. Yeah.
But we did the back off challenge. I think it went over really well. I think for the first time for us officially doing something like that, like especially that, I think it went really well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the feedback that I got was,
oh yeah, you hung out with them.
I did. Yeah.
Oh yeah, break it down.
Yeah. So, after the tournament, they had like a birthday party up at Razzles. So went out there and hung out with the guys, picked up Amy, brought her out there. So, thank you to all the cornhole wives that took her under your wing, or golf wives,
yeah.
meadow wives, if you will. Took her under your wing and showed her a great time. Like, I've been trying to get her out for cornhole events for years to experience the same thing, but they knocked it out of the park. She had a wonderful time with everybody, but all the meadows are saying that we went too soft. They thought we were going to go harder in the paint.
Okay. And
but
we
I
actually
also told
discussed
them,
this.
yeah. And I told them, I'm like, guys, this was the first one. We also don't know you.
Yeah.
So we didn't know how people would react, but the ones that were at the bar were exactly who you'd expect to be there.
Okay.
It was like
the ones that were easier to say stuff.
Easier targets, but they just love golf and like
For sure.
love being
They're
there with the people. Exactly.
This league really is full of characters. Like,
Yes.
they really are. And I've noticed it more after being around one, and now people recognize this a little bit. Like, oh, like we weren't just like these brand new people.
Yeah.
It definitely helped a little bit. And I think, listen, I told you when I dropped you off, or when you dropped me off, I'm like, listen, you got to go, because like I know I can't go. I got like this T-ball thing, but like, just this is how we get in with you and meet like the community, and like it's just, and it seems like a really solid group of dudes and ladies. And like,
it took me like two drinks to get into the group. All right, like we got there. Jared and some guys were playing Golden Tee inside. I saw Gordo outside, like at the bar. So like said hi, but like people were spread out.
I get you.
And then Jared, when I was inside, he's like, "Hey, so like some of these guys want to see how good you are at cornhole." So I'm like, all right, well, there's boards set up. Like, they had them set up out there, and I brought my bags. So I'm like,
well done.
if we want to,
well done.
If you want to throw, that's fine. And then
What'd you throw with?
So I did. We had the Charlies and the Power Dragons out there.
Nice.
Of course, from Draggin Bags. Both great sets, available now at dragginbags.com. Drop code Big S12 at checkout. And yeah, it was just fun. Like, as soon as we started throwing bags, like, got the little shit talking and like, having fun with the guys, and like, boom, it was on after that. Like, everyone was exactly what we know, like, from the cornhole world. Like, they're just
whoever thought that our
dudes.
cornhole skills,
you
know what I mean, or like knowledge of the game, whatever.
Yeah, and honestly, like,
make us more.
I will
friends
give
in the golf
credit.
community.
Lost one match. In the day, I played with Jared.
Okay,
Jared he will say that he is not good at cornhole. He's not good at cornhole.
Good golfer, decent golfer.
Decent golfer. But yeah, so like, I was in the hole like the whole time, but I threw okay. Like, I threw like I haven't thrown in a while, and I was just there messing around with
like
buddies.
You just were outside in the sun for 8 hours.
I mean, and I was
crushing beers
back in the sun, still crushing beers. But I mean, at the end of the day, like, I hit a couple shots just to remind them that, like, I know what I'm doing. Like, and they're like, "Oh shit!" Like, I hit with like one little like roll bag over top, like it was a little side tilter, and they're like, "The hell was that?" I'm like, well, "That's like, I run a cornhole podcast. Like, I know how to throw these shots." Hit an and one.
I'm glad I wasn't there.
Yeah, hit an and one for the win in one game. We needed 4 points, and I had a chance to just airmail for 3, or I could hit the and one for the 4. And
of course.
I let that thing rip, and it shot that bag so far off the back. Like, I don't know if you're familiar with Razzles,
Yeah,
but
of course.
it went into the shed.
Oh shit!
Like, it went a full like 5 feet into that shed. I was like, oh man, I like dimed that thing like right on and just catapulted it off the back. Yeah, no, it was awesome guys. Like, great time. I'll play cornhole with them anytime because it's just fun.
Oh
like,
yeah, shit talking
up there. Yeah, exactly. Like, they know what it's about. And same with golf. Like, I can't wait to get out and golf with some of these guys outside of even a tournament.
So we're playing the next one in July. I actually just registered today. I'm gonna tell Jared to put us with random groups.
Yeah,
Spread
let's
us out.
Go fully random.
Yeah, I want to meet as many people as we can. You know what I mean? Like, throughout the groups, I think it'll be better for the next time we do like one of these challenges.
Yeah.
So we're gonna continue to kind of go work with the league. Just try to be creative. I think what I want to do this next time is just try to like pick somebody in my group and talk to Jared ahead of time. Like, put me with somebody that like doesn't mind to be filmed.
Yeah,
Like, put
just
me
have
with
the
Tom
camera
Foods.
on you.
So I can film foods and be like, listen, there's gonna be like 2 or 3 holes. I'm gonna film every one of your shots that we're gonna go. I'm still gonna play, but like my focus on those holes are gonna be like to film you and like just get content like that. I think that'll go over well. So I just want to try it out. So we're having fun doing the golf thing. Cornhole obviously is still near and dear to our hearts and making us friends and outside communities. So
100%.
it's awesome. And
growing the game.
Yeah, and again,
grassroots style.
It got me excited again after hearing about these changes. I think everything's going the right direction. I was pessimistic, man, for like the last 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I just don't like where this is going. I feel like locally, like it was so depressing going to the one event that I've been to. I'm like, this is crazy, man.
Yeah. Now, do I think this is going to be the end all be all solution for locals just to jump up? No, but it's going to start growing organically again in those local numbers. I think you'll see it grow a little faster, like than what we would even expect.
I think sneakily, I think obviously the big like draw right now has been the 100 to whatever number. It's like 695 now, right? Like that's what's getting all the number. The fact that they're going away from divisions, I think it's like the biggest thing that is going to be a big talking point going forward.
Yeah, if you're in a slump and you drop down a little bit, then it gives you the chance to work on your game to get back up to where you were.
Correct. So I think
ebbs and flows in this game.
I
You're
really
never
think
just
I'm very
stuck
excited
in
for
advance.
that.
Like,
yeah.
It's I love to hear that. I did just want to chime in real quick right before this interview though. Like your boy's golf game,
dude. I was gonna say
is on point, bro. Like
I'll
I
give
am
you credit, man.
swinging a good club right now.
We played 9 holes.
Yeah.
Like the front 9.
Yeah.
And again, this course is very much a muni course, but the people who run it were fucking awesome. And it was just a fun course to kind of play.
Yeah.
And the layout was actually kind of interesting. Like you had a few holes where you had to hit iron off the tee and you had to be accurate because it's narrow. But then like it rewarded you if you hit that good shot.
But also postage stamp greens. All their greens are tiny. So like it's it's harder than it looks.
Yes. You shot 2 over. And we were just fucking around.
Yeah. And but then like on Friday before, I shot a 76.
And then you went with Petering,
went with
right?
Kyle Petering. With shout out to Kyle. Had a great time with you, buddy. Yeah, I mean, he shot like, I think he ended up as like an 81. Dude can just hit the fucking nuts out of a ball. Like it is disgusting, his swing. And then, I mean, I shot a 78 and it was one of those that like, I missed like 2 cheeky putts that I should have fucking hit.
Yeah.
Type deal. Yeah, I mean, all in all, like
I'm going to propose something to you.
Well.
Not on the podcast.
Okay.
I think I'm interested to hear if you'll go with it.
All right, I'm down.
All right, for sure. All right, so later this week we're going to be dropping a bonus episode with some from ACL Europe, Ton de Vries. So I think he's definitely a personality.
Yes,
we've been waiting to have him on for like a few weeks.
It's hard.
Now,
There's quite the time change.
Correct. So we're going to bust this out. So it'll be a bonus episode dropping next week. Hope you guys enjoy the interview with Trey, Ryder, and Athena Delgado. And as always, we hope you throw it straight. That's nothing but 4 baggers from here on out.
Cornhole it.
Later. All right, welcome back to the Big Ass Cornhole Podcast. We are now joined by Mr. Trey Ryder and Miss Athena Delgado. What's going on?
What's up, guys?
Hello.
Long time no see. How are you guys?
Fantastic. I will say, though, I love the Zoom meeting invite just said ACL important people.
Right? I figured. Listen, the fact when people actually appreciate little things like that, because like I don't know if anyone's actually going to see it, but it makes me laugh a little bit. So I'm glad you appreciate it, though. I'm glad. So one of the reasons, I mean, it kind of leads into like why I wanted to have you guys on the show. So I think the reason I put important people is because you guys had a restructuring, to my understanding, right? Of like some positions and like what responsibilities are and stuff. So do we kind of want to start there and just kind of work our way through?
Sure. Yeah, we can start there.
Sweet.
I'll give a little bit and then I'll let Athena take on some different things. But yeah, so for us, it was, a little bit of a restructure and that'll continue even throughout the rest of the year of how we kind of put people in better positions to grow different aspects. I think one of the things that I spent the past 6 months to 8 months on was a new 5-year plan for the ACL that was 100% rooted in growing the amount of players that the ACL has across all facets of all skill levels. So okay. I think notice there, the thing I want to emphasize, it's not growing more people watching. It's not growing more people that are, going and buying new things. It's growing more people playing cornhole and playing in the ACL. Okay. And so that was a deeply rooted goal for us. And so we realized that We have grown a lot. And over those 8 years of really strong growth, we made a lot of really good decisions. And some other decisions we probably, hindsight's 2020, we probably pivot on a couple of those different things. And so the thing that we really wanted to do is just establish a new way that we operate, the way we treat our grassroots cornhole movement. And so that's why we created this department called Cornhole Operations. And the goal was everybody within that cornhole group is going to be geared towards one thing. How can we get more people playing in the ACL? And so, there's different positions created with that emphasis in mind. There are some people that are geared more towards growing the amount of players playing at the highest level. So your pro players, your high level advanced players. But then there's also people that are going to be 100% geared towards people that have literally never picked up a bag, and they just need to learn how to do that. And so really within that cornhole operations group, there's a core group, and Athena is a really big presence in that. And so, I think that's a goal for us, is just to grow that and start with that restructure. So I don't know, Athena, I don't know what you want to add there, but you've obviously had a big role in that, and there's some people that are supporting you, and you guys are doing a lot of good things.
Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot to follow. There's definitely been, a lot of just kind of, like Trey said, putting everyone in a good position that kind of made sense and worked. And cornhole operations, I think, was probably one of the coolest things that was really structured. And it's always been there, but now it kind of has its name. It has its goals. And now we have, the 5-year plan to look forward to. And we also just, kind of tidied up a little bit of what everyone was doing. I'm super excited because a big part of Cornhole Ops as well is, you have Todd and Kat and Michael, and, we spend a lot of time. I think one of the funny things that people don't realize is that even after the events are done, we're all still working. We all, log in Mondays, Tuesdays, or answering questions. So it's not just you're there for the event, you're picking up, cleaning up, running the tournament, and then you're done until the next event. We're all actually full-time working day in and day out, just really trying to make sure that everything makes sense for everyone, from, our presence online, communication, how can we support directors, players, and then growing, I guess, the ultimate goal, which is just getting people out there playing. That's the number one thing, is just making sure that we make it easy for people to play and a lot more enjoyable. And that's where the player engagement, director engagement program came, and also a new amateur ladder challenge is also coming out next season. So we're pretty excited for that.
What do you feel like the player engagement program from this season? What do you think the overall feedback has been so far?
Oh my gosh, it has been phenomenal.
Okay.
I'm actually so giddy and excited about the program. It's gotten so much wonderful feedback. I think there's, still a lot more things that we need to do, in creating some additional pages, resources for people to really understand. We rolled a lot out this season at once. So I think people trying to pick and choose and figure out exactly what everything was. And then also having the ability to get the points actually showing on the players player portal, which was super important. Once they started actually realizing, I am earning a t-shirt, I am getting an email that says I'm in this $5,000 tournament. Everything is very intentional. They're receiving emails typically every 1 to 2 weeks or so. Plus, if they receive a code, they're getting it personalized. So there's a lot that goes on the back end. But one of my probably favorite things to witness is I saw the very first player engagement jersey for the very first player who earned it at this past Open in New York.
Cool.
So it's been so much fun, and I'm excited to kind of expand on that this season. So we've got lots of cool plans for that this year as well.
Because I know last time you were on, we were expressing we think it was a good idea. You know what I mean? I do it gets back to the idea of we're not always expected to go there and try to win cash prize, but sometimes a trophy or a jersey or, it means just you want to feel like you're being recognized for going to all these events, even if you're not winning. You know what I mean? I think in some deep rooted way.
Yeah, I mean,
coming from a guy who hasn't won a tournament in 5 years,
true.
you know what I mean? So
just something you can finally work towards.
Correct. Give me something that my daughter, every time I come home, she's like, "Did you win a trophy?" I'm like, "No." So it's
maybe if you guys could start giving out participation trophies, his daughter wouldn't have to cry every time.
Oh god, this community would have a field day with that. Can you imagine that shit? Oh my god.
So I mean, I do have one question though. So 5-year goal. What, like, are you guys familiar with the acronym BHAG at
I'm
all?
not.
So it stands for big, huge, audacious goal. What's your guys' like big goal that you're trying to achieve in 5 years?
250,000 members.
Nice.
Okay.
We can
Like active registered members.
Active paid members across that. And if we can do that, there's a number of different things that internally hits our goals, and there's a number of different things that we can do, and our staff have individual goals and metrics that they can abide by that. But I think the big thing that comes with this restructure is that for years and years and years, the way that we've operated kind of our pro division is just based on like, we're going to pay our pro players whatever we can, right? And we're going to, a lot of that has been driven by sponsorship money and things of that nature. But the way that we've restructured our group and our organization, we've given pro players a buy-in, and meaning that, moving forward, that our pro division payout is going to be directly correlated to a rev share of the revenue that ACL makes directly from the Cornhole operations group.
Okay.
And that's significant because, one, it also gives an opportunity to scale, right? And one that's a much more predictable way, right? Before, when you rely a lot on sponsorship money, you can get into a point where your ebbs and flows with the market. But really, with this new emphasis, it's okay, we can grow and we can scale. And for us, if we get to 250,000 paid members, then we can do a $10 million prize pool for our pro players, which would obviously see an exceedingly larger number of players being full-time, giving them an opportunity to grow grow themselves as professional athletes. And that would be enormous for us. And so that also gives us something to plan for. And also, guess what? Now our pro players and our top level players are incentivized to continue to help us grow as much as we can.
100%.
Right? Because and they're incentivized to do that. And so really that's our huge goal in order to do that. And if we can do that, then we feel confident that we can make all those different things happen.
What has been, so like, where are we sitting at right now for the memberships? And have we seen has it been like a steady increase, or, I mean, I'm assuming we saw a drastic increase during COVID, and then has it leveled off, or have we continued to see kind of like a steady increase? And is the 250,000 mark, is that with projection based off of this current increase, or are you projecting that you will see a bigger increase? Does that make sense?
So for us, what I would say is we've seen increases in revenue each year, but how it's looked has changed a lot. Because shocker, we've changed a bunch of different things over the years, trying to figure out what the right move is and what the right recipe is. And so for us, I think a big thing for us has been to grow a more emphasized focus on that grassroots effort, instead of trying to rely a lot of membership revenue on the top level of the sport. Now, bringing in more revenue through, higher price memberships, that's something obviously we want to continue to do, but that's no longer a huge focus over this past year and a half, right? It's moving forward. It's really growing the grassroots efforts of the game and getting more people playing at that level. Now, to your question of how do we get that next number, or where does that come from? Yeah, it's got to come from a higher growth rate than we're currently seeing right now, but we're powering that based on a major investment that we've made in the past 6 months that will continue through the end of this year. And that's in our new and updated technology that we're excited to start really pushing out there. And Athena has spent hours and hours and hours in technology review meetings, going through and seeing all of our new wireframes of our new app, and excited to say that we're actually launching this week. We're going to get ourselves in trouble. We're going to be launching a true and honest feedback campaign, in which people of any walk of their ACL journey can go to iplaycornhole.com/new app between now and July 15th to submit what they want to see in the next iteration and the next version of an ACL app. And it is our goal to, now that we have a foundation that's already been developed, to make sure that all of the features, the functionality, as much as we can,
Yeah,
that the Cornhole community truly wants is incorporated into this next iteration. And we believe it is that new tech and that new technology that is truly going to help us propel and accomplish the goals that we need to, because we truly believe that a global expansion is dependent and must be fueled by great technology.
Okay. All right. So again, the URL is iplaycornhole.com/new app.
Yeah, we'll be putting that all over social media here in the next. I think by the time you guys post this episode, it will already be out on social medias. So
when is it going live?
July 1st. So
that's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Oh, it looks like a reel's getting clipped tonight.
There you go.
We're just gonna have the URL as the name of the episode, so people can just click on it and go submit.
For sure. Okay, so I think probably the biggest shock, or like, I don't know if it's like a shock, but like going into this season was this number that like we're cutting it down to 100 pros, right? There's been a lot of discussion about this, and then we start hearing and people jumping to conclusions that this is changing, right? And then I hear that it is in fact changing, but just like, I guess, again, it's like a restructuring. And from my understanding is that everything's just going to be more clear cut. And you guys are going to be sticking with a plan for more than like 1 year, which is huge. And I'm not trying to poke fun at this, but like, and I know you guys have changed models, but it seems, at least from my understanding, that this should be structured enough and you have enough of a plan laid out that like this could carry through for more than one season.
Yeah. I'll let Athena dive into a little bit of details here, because I don't want to just blabber the whole episode, because you guys know I will.
That's why we have you on, so we don't have to talk.
When my voice is
just get me on here. They just like play up a question, they go walk, have a beer. They know when to talk about it. Get back.
People have to pay on Patreon to see that, though. Okay, they didn't know the audio version. They thought we were sitting here the whole time listening attentively.
Oh gosh, yeah. So I mean, for us, it feels like this massive overhaul, but to us, it really still is just a couple tweaks into, kind of a merger of the pro and elite program, but keeping the same type of format for opens and signatures and things of that nature to give it a little bit more of a consistent feel. And then, yes, it is our goal that we feel like, based on the feedback that we have, this is the right way to do it. And we feel confident in the top level of the sport and ways that we can keep building it. So I'll let Athena add some color.
So however you want to break this down, Athena, I'll just let you have the floor, and whatever you think the people are going to want to know. And again, we'll ask questions if you forget anything or if we need clarification, but floor is yours.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. So I think just kind of going back to, Trey's point in, yes, the, changes, and we're pretty confident, I would say. Now, in terms of the plan that we have right now, it's not so much that we've fully changed the plan, more so that we've just evolved the plan. We've expanded the plan. So there really isn't much that's actually going to change from here into next season or into the following. It's pretty, simplified. Now, we did actually do a live Q&A with our incredible partners, our bag makers, pro elite players, also our directors. So we made sure that we kind of went out there, gave them as much information as possible, did a live Q&A, and answered everything. So one of the biggest points is the top 100. What does that look like? What does the pro division look like? I've seen a lot online where people are saying, you went from 100 to 700 and, kind of expanding on that. But in reality, we also have our women, junior, senior pros. So those are also inclusive of that particular number. So breaking all of that down, the top 100, they're still the ones who are in those are the best in the country. Those are the ones who you're probably going to see a lot more of. What we decided to do is we said, we're going to give you guys a set fee for the season, a little bit simpler, and they are automatically put in every single event for the whole season. So now they're not stressing out. Did they forget to register? Do they have to wait to get, any type of funding or whatever the case is?
Cody Henderson is like fist pumping somewhere. Yeah, I mean, like.
Maybe. But that was just like a part of it, because that's, it's one of those things that it does get complicated. We're asking, these players to travel, to do a lot of things, but also, being good faces, for what we need, and also provide them enough ample time to be able to be those community partners and members. So this kind of gives us something to guarantee them something. So they're guaranteed that they're in the bracket. In addition to that, they are guaranteed seeds 1 through 100 for singles, and then 1 through 50 for doubles. Now, if you look at what that's going to look like once you get to the opens, I'll go over that a little bit more for next season. But essentially, they're going to have all those guarantees. They'll get any super holes, cornhole for a causes. Any of that will strictly go to that top 100 group.
Okay.
For that. Now, for the qualifications for the top 100, nothing's changed. It's exactly as it says in our pro guide. We are sticking to that to the T, with the only caveat that we are going to, do a couple of adjustments. So for 25-26, it'll be 695 players who will be offered a pro spot. And now that's going to be a mix through state and our CPI metrics. So we'll be taking the top 3 in state standings for every single state. We'll also be taking the top 2 in CPI, which players are able to view in their player portal, as long as they meet the minimum requirements, which is at least 50 matches that they've played, or 50 rounds.
Okay.
Now with that, so you'll have your pro top 100, that's 100. Your next group, which is your state and your CPI metrics, that's going to be 325 will be offered. Your ACL pro women will be 90, pro senior will be 90, and pro junior will be 90. Now for the state level, a lot of questions that I've seen online, and a lot of questions that were also asked in our Q&A, is if your top 3 players are in that top 100 in the state, what happens? We go down to the next. We'll go down to the next one, offer the next one, as long as all of the other metrics, haven't been met. So we'll pool the top 100, and then we're going to pool the women, junior, senior, and then we'll go from there afterwards.
So right now we have top 100, and then we have the other avenues and other individuals that are going to be getting pro contracts. I'm assuming there's going to be some sort of qualifying tournament before a main bracket at a signature event.
Yep. Yeah. So for next season at the signature events, we're actually going to do it Friday morning.
Okay.
And what's really, really nice about this is each respective group is going to have their own separate qualifier. So you'll have your ACL Pro Juniors, we'll have theirs, then the women, then the senior, and then your 325 group. They're going to have their own specific qualifiers for that. Now, the way that that's going to work out is we're going to do a rounders format. So, for example, the women, junior, senior will pull 20 from that bucket, and then I believe it's about 55 or 60 from the other bucket that will get pulled into those. Now, what that does for the top 100 is not only are they going to get seated in their respective spots after the top 100, they'll be manually entered in. But the top 100, if you are in the top 8, you're going to get that first round bye. And then for doubles, it's that top 4, you'll also get your first round bye.
Okay.
So we're also being mindful of that. Now, the other thing is with that, they are going to pay an entry fee to that qualifier. There is a payout for that qualifier as well. So we also made sure that we were keeping in mind and respecting everyone's time. Now, if you don't make that bracket, the pro bracket, you then can play into the open. So just the regular open, because pros and amateurs play together again, which is what everyone wanted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it makes people want to travel again, because if you don't make it, it's not like your whole weekend's a bust and you can go home. Yeah, man. At least there's still something that you can go. What would suck is if you plan on playing with an amateur and then you make it, you're sorry.
Yeah.
I actually made it. So what can you do? Are you going to, is it going to still be the A, B, C, D brackets? Or are you going to one large bracket? Are you still doing the 4 separate brackets?
No, it'll still be the 4 separate brackets.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to think other major changes that are upcoming. I know that there's not a huge emphasis that you can have this pro title, but there's no pressure on travel requirements, correct?
Correct. And that's where, sorry. I'd say that.
I was just say one of the things that was important for us was that I continuously heard over the past 2 years was that the travel burden for pro players had become so much across everything. And so that's why we essentially limited the pro tournaments to, the pro only tournaments to the 6 signature opens. And so that greatly limits it, where instead of going 11 opens plus the 6 signatures plus worlds, and yes, only 2 of the opens counted, and only 4 of the signatures counted. But it just got to a point where, and I understand that case, where it's like, well, yeah, I'm only going to 2, but if I don't do well, I want to go to 2 more, right? And I want to go to 2 more, and it became overwhelming for our pro players. And when you take a set amount of money, we already talked about kind of how we want to scale the pro division moving forward. But when you take a set amount of money and you spread that out over more events, it means you're getting less money per event. And then you factor in travel. We were finding that we were starting to pay out more money, and pros were less happy about it, right? That's not because they were arguing with something that didn't make sense. What they were saying made perfect sense.
Yeah, correct.
And I was having to travel to so many different events to get the same amount of money. So let's bring and condense that money into 6 events, right? If you win one, you're walking out with a big fat check, and you like that, and then you don't have to travel 18 times a year. And by spreading out the schedule a little bit, instead of just going April through July for these 6 major events, starting in January and running January through July for 6 events, it just becomes a lot more digestible for pro players, which we think is going to be nice.
Especially pro players with work. It's, hard to get that time off in succession, like weekend after weekend. So, it's definitely a smart move.
Yeah, and when you combine it with the elite program, the goal, one of the things we heard about the elite program, we thought it would be better, right, for someone. I don't know if you guys heard that lightning. That was crazy.
I saw it.
I don't know if for the elite program, we thought, and genuinely, and we had feedback sessions about this beforehand, which was, would you like it if you went to an event that qualified you for a different one, so that when you go to a weekend, right, you didn't have to play across multiple days where you didn't know if you were going to even qualify for that main bracket? We thought the feedback that we were receiving was going to be, yes, that was the best thing possible. Well, no, the feedback they changed their mind, right? But the big difference was, when we look at the elite program and how it was last season, people had to come in Thursdays, right? And that Thursday qualifier, and then they don't play again, and they spent the entire weekend, is different. Now, with this new combined with the open, like Athena said, people can come in Friday morning, they play. If they make it, fantastic, a goal accomplished. If they don't make it, well, now they can just play in the open like everybody else, and that's never been offered before. And so it really incentivizes those people in that 300 range, those 325 pros that aren't the women, junior, seniors. Like, this is an opportunity. Hey, you're going to go to the open anyway. Now you have an opportunity to actually play in the pro bracket, get an opportunity to win some of the big money.
Is the requalification process to become a top 100 pro the following year, is it going to be the same as it was this year?
Athena Delgado's got that one.
They should get it. Yes, it'll mirror it very, very similarly to how it is. So yes, it will be I would say pretty dead set. We do have that. We are going to publicly post exactly what that looks like, but essentially it will be,
so somewhere of like X amount of top singles players, and then doubles players, and then whatever fill in after that. Okay.
And also with the pro qualifier. So we do still have the pro qualifier at Worlds for next season as well. So everything will pretty much be the same. The only addition to what we did this season is now you have your state and then your CPI based ones. And then we're also taking the top women, junior, and senior from each state as well. Okay. So every state will be very, very well represented, which was also a big goal for those players who maybe they play very, very well. They're the top ones in their state. They're the ones who really those are the ones who are the advocates of the sport in general. Yeah. And they're the ones who maybe travel sometimes, maybe don't. But this provides all the different types of pro. There's the ones that are going to travel everywhere, who have the ability to, that top 100 where they're just grinding day in, day out. Most of them, this is their job. Mm-hmm. And then we have the pros who now fall into these other buckets, who are also just the top or the best within their state. So we have lots of different, variations, but yeah.
I mean, it's a title, again, it's something to work towards now again. And I thought that's kind of what you guys had gone away from before. One of the things during COVID that the year after that was that there was like this great race and this chase of like going after points and trying to get on like the leaderboard to try to like get this pro idea. So like I think bringing that back is it a positive thing? It's going to get people to like kind of excited to play again.
Oh, for sure.
I think perhaps the thing that I was the most excited for, not even like, and we're not even like traveling to all these events, but you guys have had a pretty condensed schedule recently. It gets a little difficult to, I can't even imagine how logistically how you guys are handling it right now. But like even just to cover the events, it's tough. Like it's just one on top. Like every time we finish up, we're doing a recap, we do the results, and then it's like, oh shit, there's another one next week.
Yeah, just
so you guys are
roll right
going
into
to
it.
a one signature per month kind of thing, to my understanding.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm trying to think of exactly of the 6. It's pretty darn close to one a month.
Okay.
Yeah. There might be one at the very beginning, one at the very end. The idea is 6 across the spring part of the year.
Okay. And is it the same as like is it the top 4 results from those of the 5 and then the world championships? Like that's not changing. Like all that stuff's the same. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Do you think, Trey, like as a player side, do you think that's going to change anything we see now? Because you know, like players just tend to get on like these hot streaks where like for a month they're like unbeatable. Well, now like are we going to see anyone like with this like sustained success like all the way through?
Yeah, I think you're dead on, right? You're gonna have to. I think it's gonna be really helpful for guys that are just your tried and true players.
Oh,
you know, Jamie Graham win a lot. You might see Mark Richards win a lot.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Because those guys are used to just having to reset all the time, right? And so, it's going to be interesting to see how they be able to put it all together. But certainly, I think it's going to be those that are used to hitting the reset button.
That's very cool. Athena, what else are we missing?
Let's see, what else are you missing? Looking at our bullet points, got some really good bullet points. We laid everything out for everybody. I think that's one of the biggest things. Let's see. Open standings, our open standings challenge, which we're going to release. One of the big things that we received a lot of feedback on was conferences and how, lots of folks were, there's this whole thing about conferences.
Yes.
One of the things and the reasons in stepping away from that came back to, again, the decision to how we're creating the new pro sort of format is we're trying to give people the opportunity and ability to stay closer to home, which is very, very important. And that kind of also goes back to that grassroots level. But essentially, our open standings challenge is going to be for those players who maybe want to travel to a couple of opens. Maybe they want to, play a little bit more. And it sort of brings a little bit of that conference feel back without the actual conferences. But we do have some pretty cool things in the works for that. So once we kind of get that together, I'm trying not to say too much about it, but we have some pretty cool things that will make people feel happy, especially if they miss certain things about the conferences.
I think no, go ahead, Trey.
I was going to say with the pro qualification, so there will be an ability to qualify through as a pro through open standings as well. So that's also back.
But now pros and pro standings have there's no open involvement anymore. I think it's important to clarify that, correct? So a pro can now just go to an open, and just like and have fun. Like just, just go and try to bring a grassroots guy. Like this is their opportunity to try to grow the game. Like this is all where it comes back to. And like you don't always got to make this, the dream team. Not everyone has got to be LeBron going cherry picking everybody. Go play. Like if you're in Cleveland, hit us up. Like we can do a Make-A-Wish or something. Like we'd
make
love
Sean's
that.
dream come true. All right.
It's good.
Athena doesn't want to share too much, and I won't share too much either because Todd would kill me. But
That's
I think one of the things I'm most excited about that I think people are going to rave over is, our new. She's touched on it. The open standings rewards.
Yeah.
It's going to go all the way down to the 500th ranked player in
That's
open.
cool.
Right. So if you are if we're talking about the 500th ranked player in open standings, that's really far down the list. So people even down there are going to have an opportunity to compete for some level of incentives, and I won't go beyond anything else there because if I promise something, then it's going to be.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I can read between the lines. I think we're talking Texas Roadhouse gift cards.
Oh, for sure.
And the cornhole community will blow up for that shit.
For sure. Oh my god.
100%.
That's the little things of Fireball. Like you're good. Like you're just gonna have a whole happy community. Like you guys are being said.
Correct. That's it's going to be exciting. We're trying to cover all bases. So we have the pro side covered, we have the amateur side. So between the new amateur open challenge, PEP program, DEP program, there's a plethora of just everything. And that kind of shows, one of the things I tell people is it's such a huge reinvestment back into the community, where it's not like we're giving away participation, trophies. I know I've heard people kind of mention that every now and again, and it's like, no, it's, you showed up, you're supporting the community. It has, there's no reason for us to not want to support those who also support us. And this is a way for the ACL to really make a big mark and make sure that, all types of players, all skill levels of players, all variations of players are represented and also taken care of. Now, another part with that is we are also going to know skill levels next season. That's probably a very, very big one that we're working very hard on. It will be a CPI structured divisions. So there's a lot kind of in the works for that. So, there's not necessarily going to be more of the intermediate competitive sort of deal. So all of that will be based on the CPI metric.
It's going to be much more fluid.
Qualify for pro. Yes.
Theoretically, right? But theoretically, it could be more of a pain in the ass for directors, right?
No, it should be easier with our new technology.
All right, so because they can't argue, right? Like, hey, you did this to yourself.
You played too good. All right, so now you gotta move up.
Well, I'm excited because a guy like me that I don't play anymore, but I've been stuck in this advance because they're afraid to move us down because we have a podcast, even though I suck. So I go there and I get my ass kicked, and
he really does.
We're always
suck.
the lowest seed, because I don't get to play anymore.
We
so I
have to face
with
Adam Hissner each time.
Hissner or Birchfield or Cody Henderson or Jeremiah. You know what I mean? Just put the list down. You know what I mean? And so for me, I would love that because I would like to go play against people who have the same skill level as me for a change. It'd be nice.
It would be nice.
And so one of the things I want to bring up when it comes to CPI, because we've been kind of flirting with it, right? There's not been a ton of, we haven't been as out front about it this year because we've been working a lot on the metrics to making sure that everything it's good, right? And so we've actually been running simulations of, 50,000 simulations per pro event. And we have predicted at almost a 70% rate the finalists for each of the pro singles brackets based on our CPI calculations.
Shit, your computer's almost as good as I am.
I know, it's pretty close.
It's getting there. I mean, it's
so, and a lot of the ones that are, and I have this other stat here. So Dave just put in our group, we simulated the first round doubles prediction. So DraftKings came out and did a bunch of head-to-head competition odds for doubles matches in the first round.
Yeah.
Okay. And, so in the A bracket, CPI was 50%. Overall was 18 out of 14. Of the 14 underdog winners, 10 were between plus 104 and plus 180.
Okay.
So it's doing a pretty good job, even at the highest level, of literally predicting winners of the win head-to-head. So the more of these type of simulations that we can do, the more we can hone in on it. When it comes next season, CPI is going to be just a fantastic metric that people can use to gauge themselves of where they are. And it takes the sandbagger and the tough conversations away from the director. Hey, if your CPI is tanked, here you go. You can play in a lower division. But if you keep winning, guess what? I gotta move up because the number says so.
For sure. I got to make one quick. You brought it up. I didn't bring it up. The odds stuff, right? Every once in a while, though, God bless DraftKings because they just lay just a golden egg in front of us, giving me Tony Smith to win his bracket at plus 500, and having two people in front of that just shows that we still have a ways of setting the lines for Cornhole World. When I saw that, I called my brother-in-law instantly, and I'm like, "Hey, do you want to win some money this weekend? How about that? How about I give you a plus 5, and I can almost guarantee you that he's going to make the finals of his bracket?" And he's like, "Okay, so he's happy. So thank you, DraftKings. Shout out to you guys." Keep doing what you're doing.
I'll say this much. They just, they've made some adjustments in a good way to be able to offer a lot more.
They've been better. They've been better, but every once in a while they miss one, and I'm there. I'm watching. But thank you. All right, so let's do some. I want to pull up some listener questions. I think a lot of them will probably have already been answered, but let's pull this up real quick. All right.
Post too much, man.
Why is this not? I do post way too much. All right, here we go. Well, there's 75 comments too. So, okay. So Jeremiah Ellis wants to know if 2 + 2 = 4. How do we get to 695? He's a UPS guy or FedEx, right? Yeah, he's FedEx guy. So don't worry about it. So
He's gonna come out of the
I know.
woodwork for that one.
I know he's gonna. I can feel it. Like Wednesday.
He looks terrible in orange, Sean.
Yeah,
Come on
Wednesday,
now.
like a little
And
bit.
purple. It's not his
Correct.
color.
Let's see. Okay, Clayton Robertson. He said, if you go to a signature qualifier, that you could pay $100, but that if you didn't make that, you could still play in the Open. My question is, do you pay to play in the Open as well on top of the $100 you already spent? Like, so is he saying like you have to pay for the qualifier and then again the Open?
Yes, because both have their own payouts.
Okay.
So we made that decision of you either got probably two options, right? Either don't pay out that qualifier and then you get seeded into the Open automatically, or you would pay to do both, and both has an opportunity. So in fairness, you're entering in two separate tournaments.
I mean, let's call it, it's gambling. I mean, it's, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of what it is. You're gambling on yourself. If you put it in and you don't make it, well, that's what happens.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah, correct. So, all right.
We know it all too well.
I like this one. Laura Allshouse wants to know, will changes be made to the U.S. Forces event to allow the pros that proudly served our country to play as well?
So, I don't know if I should break this news.
Oh my God.
Put me on
Hey.
put me on the spot. But what I would say is, I don't know if this has already come out yet. So I will say we have a new executive director for USA Cornhole.
Okay.
So that new USA Cornhole national director, when they feel it's their time to make their announcement of all these things, all of that is coming under the purview of them. Now, for this season, going into this World Championships, there's no pros involved.
Yeah.
That individual is reviewing all of the different regulations when it comes.
Do we
to
know that? Do we know this individual?
Yes.
Are we not allowed to know who this individual is yet?
I don't want to take.
Okay,
away
I won't record. Okay, maybe off air then.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe that's fine. I just
Okay.
don't want to take, like, they have the opportunity to make an announcement.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay,
But that'll be under their purview to make that decision.
fair enough. Okay. Let's see. Well, Steve Witherspoon, he said, with a lot of changes happening to the pros, will there be changes to the lower divisions? I mean, I think the biggest news is like there's just no divisions. So, I mean, I don't see how this couldn't be seen as a good thing. Yeah. I don't know how much you guys follow like what TCL does ever, but like TCL does something very similar to this right now. And like I think it's like a week before their signature events or something, they post up and then you know ahead of time like what tier you have to play in, and it's kind of like a fluid metric. So I think that's been overwhelmingly positive.
Yes, for sure.
I think it just at the events, like you're constantly feeling like you're playing against somebody that's like about your level. And any given day, somebody can have a good game, but you feel more comfortable going in knowing that like, all right, they beat me on their best day. It's not somebody that's like sandbagging coming down. So I do think that's going to be a very good move.
Yeah. The idea is just being able to post the director being able to say ahead of time, these are the CPI ranges for the top level, the second level, the third level, the fourth level, right? And wherever you fall, that's what you're playing.
Let's see. Jeremy Smith, what's the pro qualifier event going to look like this year now? Are you increasing the amount of spots that are going to be offered contracts? Was it still 16 was it?
Yep. No, it's going to stay the same.
Okay.
It's going to stay the exact same. Yeah. The format itself is we'll post a little bit more information on our player info, which is going to be on the actual scheduled website. So we'll put a little bit more information as to what the format itself is, but we'll kind of make that decision as we get a little bit closer to Worlds itself to really determine exactly where our numbers lie and what's going to be the best kind of route to do that. Now, we do have the pro qualifier on Thursday now, as opposed to our traditional Sunday.
Okay. I know, and that's kind of nice. I don't know. Part of me loved when it was on Sunday because you could just feel the nervous energy all weekend. You know what I mean? Like everyone was always a little bit on edge.
Yeah,
I kind of
so
was
true.
as sick as I am. Like I just loved that. Like that it was just like you knew that they were having fun, but like in the back of their mind they knew they had to behave because like they had to play on
the
Sunday.
Saturday night in Rock Hill would just be dead quiet.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone was so focused on the pro
Well, it normally is.
qualifier.
Everything closes there like 9:00.
That's
It's
true.
ridiculous. Try to
Fed
get
into
food
it a
there.
That was
little
the big
better.
things. That was one of the big things from the feedback when we moved. We were like, okay, let's shorten the World Championships. That's what everybody wants to do. So then you shorten the World Championships. But as a result of that, you get intermediate and competitive that end up on a Monday and Tuesday, right? It wasn't, we're putting intermediate and competitive on Monday and Tuesday and you're going to like it. It was more like, hey, let's shorten it. Well, then that was bad. Well, we can't do that. So then it was, okay, we have to throw it onto the weekend somewhere. And so that's where the pro qualifier came off of. That had to come off of the Sunday and put somewhere in the week, and Thursday worked.
Fair enough.
And that's Athena's day to work all day long. So.
Hey, the most stressful day in the game.
I think everyone in the pro qualifier should have to go through like a combine just so you could see if they actually have the skills, Just throwing it out there.
40-yard dash.
Yes. Yeah, not cornhole related. I want to see like actual like combine stuff.
So
shuttle run.
A 40 and a bench press.
Yeah. It's definitely the bench press.
For sure.
See how many Zukas they can lift on each side, full. Let's see what happens, right?
What is this format change going to do for teams? Like, what is it going to do to teams? I mean, I'm assuming there's still going to be a draft. The X amount of teams will be allowed to keep so many players again, and then they go into a pool. Is that staying about the same?
Yeah, I'm gonna say we're gonna pause on that for a minute,
Okay.
and then I'll let you know when we're ready to answer that one. I want to make sure that we got our core singles and doubles right. We got that in the right shape that we need to, and we'll continue to figure out from there what we want to do with teams.
All right. Chase Lester's just wants to clarify: will pros be put on salaries by the ACL?
Not in the immediate, no. And I don't think everybody wants that until you actually, don't get rewarded for finishing higher than somebody else. And then it's a big deal.
Listen,
so,
we're from Cleveland, the home of signing guys, and then they come here, get their paycheck, and do nothing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone gets complacent when you get a steady paycheck. Okay.
It's individualized sport. All individualized sports are going to be prize money based. I don't foresee that changing in the future. Now, what I go back to again is an incentivized growth plan, and I'll continue to hit on that for years to come. And that that's the way that we help the community get behind itself and give them and also reward them for helping us in growth, right? And I think that's the way that we do that. So I still continue to believe that this new different strategy of helping grow cornhole operations, getting pros the opportunities, and even expanding what our commission model can possibly look like and things of that nature to get more people playing cornhole and running cornhole tournaments. Like, that's all got to be part of this true community to get people paid more money at the highest level. So yeah.
I mean, you can always use Live Golf as the model of that, because you literally saw some of the top 5 players in the world start getting paid and become complacent, and they literally say things on live media broadcasts saying like, yeah, I shit the bed on the last 6 holes, but guess what? I'm still getting paid millions, so it doesn't really matter. And that's just not a good look for, athletes in general. So like, I mean, I agree. You gotta keep the edge on them a little bit.
Graham Burns wants to say, in what situation would an ACL player be chasing points? Like, if I'm a comp player, do points matter for me?
Oh, you want to take this one, Athena?
I like this one.
Okay.
This is a good one. I love this one. 100%. I think that it really depends on everyone's goal. So what is his goal individually as a player? Is his goal to be the best in his state? Is his goal to be the best in his local area, his regional area? What exactly is that goal? And that's kind of the conversation we try to have. But as to the points itself, depending on every state, because a lot of states and state directors do have their own incentive plans, and we are going to be working very heavily with state directors this season. So some of them do top 32 jerseys, some do top 50 jerseys, some do t-shirts, some do $1,000 prize pool event at their state event. There's so many different reasons as to their why. So it really, really depends as to his specific why. But we do have, again, our amateur standings or our amateur challenge coming out. Player engagement just for playing. So it depends on what type of points, what his goal is. So that's such a broad, open kind of answer, but I would say that he has an avenue to meet almost any type of goal that he wants. And there is some level of point structure that will meet his needs between the PEP, the open challenge, state points, or even just trying to do something within his state itself.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll add on top of that, in which are one of the biggest things within our new app and our new technology is being able to truly localize standings and truly localize the club model. And so, if he wants to be a pro, there's obviously pro standings and open standings to help him qualify. If he wants to be the best in his state, he can do that. If he just wants it's not participation points, but the idea is building and playing enough in order to get incentivized to do that. There's the engagement programs. Or if he wants to be the best at triple play cornhole in Arizona because Athena's the best ever, then, literally with this new app and our new tech, being able to create a club that has a ranking system that easily you can have people fighting against to be the best that they can be just in that localized area across all levels. That's the goal for us, is creating different ways that people will chase points. Chase points doesn't mean driving 3,000 miles. It could mean just driving 3 minutes down the road to play on the Tuesday night.
So let's say I'm going to triple play next season, Athena, right? We're going to one of your regionals. I guess like the lack of if we're not calling it intermediate, competitive, advanced, whatever, we're getting those away. We're going by CPI rankings. I'm assuming that there has to be some sort of a cap, right? Where if you are greater than let's just use 7, right? If you're greater than a 7, you have to play in this bracket. If you're less, in this range, is that how it's going to kind of be then?
Yes, to an extent. So the way that we're going to kind of work it, and also the way that all of our data gets pulled by our amazing Dave. He will pull all of the information. We're getting a level of approximation per each individual state because every state is different talent.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Like, so Arizona versus Cleveland, like we might have like 50 people that are like a lower than a 5 CPI, but and like 20. So then like, do you change, does the number change per state and per director then?
Yes, we'll give them some approximation. So we will give them, this is what we would use. This is our recommendation based off of this level, and this level typically equals this. Now that might look a little bit different between each area, but we're also providing the flexibility, especially with the new app coming out, for the directors to have that ability on a local night or even just a regional night. So it's not just these large events, it's for everything kind of across the board. Also to make it a little bit easier, and directors will have a little bit more flexibility with that. Because everyone's area is so different. One of our intermediate players might not be the same as your intermediate player. So we're definitely taking that into account. Okay.
What's the status on the new ACL All One app that's been promised? Like, do we have like a launch date or anything, or?
Yeah, what we're sticking with now is very early 2026. Is what we're going with. What I would say is that we're having app review meetings weekly. So we're moving. Been pretty good. And I would say that we want to put a lot in version 1, and we want version 1 to be right. We don't want to release a version that isn't, capable, that doesn't do a lot of things correctly. We want to make sure that we get it right. Certainly, we want there to be further versions that add other things and develop, but we want to make sure that version 1 accomplishes what we want it to.
I mean, it's not like the Cornhole community would complain if it wasn't ready to go or anything. So, I mean,
it'd be very reasonable.
This is perhaps my favorite question, and we're going to kind of we'll wrap it up on this one. In a Mortal Kombat style fight, who wins, Cinderella or Rapunzel?
Oh, that's easy.
Oh, really? Okay, I'm interested. I want to see. I think I know which direction you're going with, but okay, go ahead.
Rapunzel would choke Cinderella until she's blue in the face. Done.
I know if it's Mortal Kombat style, like it is, like the reach is, I feel like it would.
The hair alone is all she needs.
Yeah,
Athena, but then a Disney fan, so Athena might feel different.
I know. I feel like we can make an argument.
Is anyone going to bat for? I mean, is it the glass?
All right,
slipper?
all right, Athena. What is your thought? I want to hear your thought first.
I mean, my initial thoughts were Rapunzel because I did see that comment, but then I started thinking about it, and Cinderella could get very gangster.
That's what I'm saying.
Cut her glass slipper and just start going.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. So if you're thinking weapon, you have a frying pan and hair, right? You can have sharp, like the heel of the glass slipper. Yeah, correct.
Shoe.
And you would have like,
cut it just
you could have like critters, right? You could have like the birds or the mice, right? Like or something.
Yeah, but
like
give me
that.
Pascal
or her
against any
ugly
bird.
stepsisters come in
Call
for
it
like
a
some
day.
special move. Like that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I mean, who's also isn't there like a horse in Rapunzel too or something like that? Like,
Yeah, but not really.
it's kind of
It's
badass.
for yeah, kind of. I don't know, but I know Rapunzel would be tough to beat.
I mean, I've seen, my wife's a huge fan of Tangled, so like I've seen it many times, and I'm sorry, but the way that she can whip that hair around a tree branch and just go over a lake or something, you can't tell me that she can't just snap and knock that slipper out of her hand in an instant. Sorry,
that's why I don't like Cinderella. Like I really like. Can we get like some more competition? Like put Mulan or something against Rapunzel. Then we can have a serious conversation.
Yeah,
because is her hair even to get through those swords?
Mulan will
like,
just sit there and
that's what I'm saying.
chop
Like,
it off.
we got to make this a fair fight. You know what I mean? But
We should do a Disney Princess Mortal Kombat bracket and see what the community. I mean, that's.
well, that sounds like that's gonna be my next
that could
plan.
be next. I mean, we have a European guest.
My wife and
next,
kids are
maybe
out
we'll
of town
ask
for the
him.
next 2 nights, so I'm not going to be working on content. So that's on the list. But thank you very much for joining us, guys. I know you guys have busy schedules. I know a lot's been coming out. Appreciate you guys taking time out of your busy schedule. I mean, Athena's about to go run a tournament, so thanks. Appreciate you.
Sorry that Dan Lambert tried
I know.
to
If
steal
he
your thunder.
bothers you, you just let us know. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll talk to him. Okay,
He cast a shadow over you when he
did.
was standing behind you.
Just
Like,
flexing.
Everyone will see him on the Patreon.
People got to pay on Patreon for
Yes.
that, though.
That's very true.
Might be worth the price of
man.
admission.
See that one?
Yeah, correct. Correct. But thank you guys. You guys obviously welcome on anytime. Trey, I think this is like number 7-ish, 8, right around there for you. So you're a veteran. Athena, you're becoming a veteran. It's number 2, right?
Yep, number 2.
Number 2. So
She's a veteran officially. So,
absolutely.
I mean,
All right. So we'll let the folks go at home. Hope you guys enjoy the interview. We'll be back next week with more audio gold. But until then, we hope you throw it straight. That's nothing but 4 baggers from here on out.
cornhole it.
Later.